What if I told you that Google just dropped a report that accidentally gives away some of YouTube's secret sauce? This is not some clickbait Reddit post. This is actually from Google, the world's largest search company over the last 2 decades, and the owners of YouTube. And if you're a new YouTuber like me, what's inside this report could fundamentally change the way you make videos going forward. I know it will me. Hey, I'm Ricky. And I've been uploading videos for years, but I've only recently started getting serious with YouTube. I'm building a new channel from scratch, and so I know how confusing it can be to figure out what's working now. And so when Google released their 20th birthday trends report, yeah, 20 years of knowing what people are searching for.
It got me curious. I started digging into that report and a few others, like Google's year-end search and some of their Think with Google Trends insights.
And what I found is packed with ideas on how to grow your channel. Whether you have less than 100 subscribers or you have 100,000, I think these things are going to work for anybody.
Together, they paint a bigger picture of where attention is going and what kinds of content people are actually searching for. Let's break it down, because buried in these reports are 7 powerful insights that can help you grow faster, connect deeper, and stand out on YouTube.
Let's start with number 1. Curiosity is king. Google said, we've entered the era of curiosity, where people crave surprise, discovery, and answers to things they didn't even know they were curious about. Let's talk about that for a second. We're in the information age. Having answers to every question that we could even think of is not the issue. But because we have access to all of that, it's changing the way we as a culture define how we look for knowledge. We're a lot more curious nowadays than maybe we were before, because we actually know that we can find answers to those questions. So even with me walking out here in this beautiful, gorgeous day, I find myself looking at some of these trees and going, why are some of these pines have their bark that's more red on one side than the other? I know that I can actually fulfill that curiosity by looking it up, pulling my phone out and searching it. Or if I was by chance starting to think about, I wonder how long this trail has been here. Or when did this town really start to grow? All of these things are things I'm curious about just by walking out here. And so imagine now going online and searching for information and having others spur that curiosity for us. So tell me, how many of you have been flipping through YouTube? So how many of you have been scrolling through YouTube and found yourself curious about a thumbnail and a title, and it may not even be a subject that you were originally searching, but it piqued your curiosity. And before you knew it, not only had you clicked on the video, but you sat there and watched this for 20 minutes when you weren't even searching for those answers. Folks that can do that, creators that can spur that curiosity, but then also keep that curiosity going in the video, those are the ones that are going to get the most retention. All right, let me give you a couple examples on how to make this work. So say you're a tech niche. You could do a title that says, why is everybody ditching AirPods for this earbud? For me, I own AirPods and I love those things. And so that would absolutely get me curious to go, man, my AirPods are pretty cool. I didn't think there were many things out there better than the AirPods. So what out there are people ditching their expensive AirPods for to go and get something else? And I would probably be interested in clicking in that. Or let's just say you're in the fitness niche. You could do a video that says, this weird workout actually helps you burn fat. I mean, it taps in on a pain point, right? Almost all of us could afford to use to burn a little bit of fat in our day, in our age. And so we see the entire internet flooded with information on how to lose weight fast, right? And we're always having challenges sticking with something or sticking with a certain diet or workout. And so now they're like, oh, there's something weird that maybe we haven't thought about before that we could be trying. Definitely strikes curiosity in me. All right, number 2, using nostalgia as a growth hack. Google said that searches for things like Y2K, Barbiecore, and early 2000 makeup tutorials are really picking up and trending lately, especially among Gen Z and millennials. So that lines up with what I've been telling everybody, that those of you that are over 40, you've got something that everybody is looking for. Whether that just be because they're curious, maybe in the younger generations, about how things were as they're growing up and now they've got access to that information, or maybe worse too, instead of asking us, they hear us talking about some of the things from our past that we're passionate for and other things. And instead of asking us to go in detail, maybe they're worried about sounding silly. And so they're actually going and searching for it and looking up to see, why was that information important back then? We all know that history is what drives us forward. We learn from our past and our mistakes. And so, knowing that we have that information, we're not in an age anymore where somebody's looking up in a book in a library or even pulling up a report in Google to find the information that they want to know. They want a more personalized education. And so they're going to YouTube to hear from people like you, from your experiences or your knowledge from the past or about topics. So let me give you some examples of how to make this work. So say you're in the parenting niche. You could have a video that talks about raising kids in 2025 versus the 90s. What happened? That right there spurs that curiosity from folks that are our age or even younger, that maybe think that that maybe think the way we're parenting kids these days is what's causing some of the issues. And so they've been maybe thinking that themselves. And so now you've piqued their curiosity, and they're going to be interested to see if what you think is causing some of the challenges or what your beliefs about the changes on how we parent our kids over the last couple decades is similar or the same as what theirs are. Or let's just say you're in the gaming niche. You could do a video that says, revisiting the most addicting games of the 2000s. One, that really spurs on an interest for most people to go, wow, what was popular? What was everybody doing? You know how we are. We all want to know what the popular kids are doing or what everybody else is doing. And so even looking back, that would make anybody curious. But it also feeds to, if you've got an older audience, it feeds to that nostalgia. I mean, I could tell you in a heartbeat that I loved as a kid playing the Atari and even eventually getting my own secondhand used Nintendo. Some of those games were absolutely my entertainment as a kid. And so even this day and age, I love getting into that nostalgia and pulling out some of those old games and playing them with my kids. So of course you're going to gain somebody's curiosity on something like that. All right, number 3. And stay with me here because each one of my tips going forward just gets more interesting as we go. All right, but number 3, how-to videos are still reigning supreme. No matter what, at some point in people's lives, everybody is searching for how to do something. We all do it. Almost every day, I get on YouTube and search for whether it's how to do something different in YouTube, or it could be something as crazy as how do I change out the float valve in the toilet that keeps messing up. As you've heard me say before, the information to everything is out there. And if it's not, we should be making videos about it because everybody is using the internet, and especially YouTube these days, to search for how to do something. And it's really important, especially if you're a new creator, to remember that. The example I'll give you is, I'm in the YouTube growth niche, right? But I'm not a guru. I'm not claiming to be one. But if I was just watching all the gurus out there and trying to get advice on videos on what's doing well for them, well, they're doing a lot of opinion videos and advice on like some of the new trends and stuff. I started taking the approach that as a new channel, yeah, I can still do some of those content because I think it's important that people are hearing from us that are new creators about some of that stuff because we're a lot closer to the ground of having to go through this than some of the folks who maybe have been doing it for 8 years. Not to say that they don't know how to be successful in it, but it's been a while since they've, had a video only get 5 views and had to sit there and question their insanity. So I've taken the approach recently with my videos to start doing some how-tos. They're great videos, they're searchable content, and they can work for you for months and years. So I've been doing things like how to edit, how to shoot with your iPhone, how to create lighting when you're on the go, and how to do all this without having to spend a ton of money. And those videos are doing well for me. Yeah, they may not be going viral because I'm still a new channel. But you know what? Most of them are still getting views every day. That could be 5 views or 50 views a day. But all of them are constantly getting some form of attention because they're search content. All right, let me give you some examples of this for how you could make this work for your niche. So let's say, you're in the beauty niche. You could do a video on how to do contour without having to buy expensive brushes, right? I don't really know much about doing contour or even makeup in general and whether I'm even saying that word right. But I do know that there are plenty of people out there that are trying to figure out how to do something on a budget. Because most of us don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars laying around to be able to just blow our money on anything. Or let's say you're in the photography niche. You could do a video that says how to shoot pro-looking photos on your iPhone. No gear needed. That right there is going to help a huge amount of people, right? Because most of us aren't carrying around a $20,000 digital SLR camera that we're shooting with. But now, day and age, you can get just as beautiful of pictures on an iPhone. And so why not teach people that you don't have to spend a fortune in order to do something that you may be passionate about? All right, number 4. What is content is really starting to pick up and explode on the internet. So Google says searches beginning with what is surged as people want content, not just instructions. Think about that. Even though people are searching for a lot of how-tos and what they're doing, we're starting to see that so many more people want to know more about the actual context of it. A lot of times, we always assume that people probably know that. Like, it's really easy for me to assume sometimes, because I've been shooting with my iPhone for years, that most people know that my iPhone can shoot in 4K and at 24 frames per second. But most people don't know that. In reality, sometimes that kind of content can actually go viral. Because something as simple as, what is 4K? And why are people talking about it in videos? And why should I care? Could 100% answer questions that people are wanting to know. All right, let me give you a couple examples for this. Let's start with the fashion niche and say, what is quiet luxury and why is it everywhere? For real. Do you know the answer to that? Because I don't. But I see it being talked about in all kinds of places. And so if I was a little bit more into fashion, that'd probably be something I would search and try to find out. Let's say you're in the mindset niche or the self-help. You could do a video on what is dopamine detox and why should I try it? You know, everybody keeps talking about the challenges that we have in this information age where we have devices always right there. You know, we're always looking for that instant dopamine rush. And so I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are curious to know, what does that actually mean? And why should they actually care? All right, number 5. AI curiosity is off the charts. So Google said ChatGPT, AI music, and how to use AI were some of the fastest growing searches worldwide. Think about that. AI is here, guys. And there are so many opinions about AI. Is it destroying our art form? Is it destroying our ability to think? Or is it here to help us? Is it here to make us better? Will it help us step up our content and our ability to reach people? I don't know. But these are the questions everybody's asking. And so you could easily dive into that curiosity for people, because people don't know whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. They're all still really trying to fundamentally figure out their thoughts on AI. I know even within some of the creator communities that I get on, it's a hot topic. And there's a lot of opinions on both sides. But you can use that to your advantage when you're making your own content. No matter how you use AI, You could talk about it with people. Are you using ChatGPT to do research? Are you using it to help you script or even create titles? All right, let's give some examples. So if you're in the YouTube growth niche, you could potentially do a video that says, I used AI to give me 10 video ideas, and this is what happened, or this is how it worked. Because the people that are curious to know about how AI is working are going to click into that. I mean, use myself as an example. I work a full-time job still. Unfortunately, I don't get to do YouTube full-time, even though it is a lot of my passion these days. And so I'm always looking for ways that I can actually do things that can speed up my process so that I'm not stressing over when my next video is going to be or stressing over trying to come up with ideas. So I'm totally embracing AI as I go forward and trying to figure out ways to make it benefit habit. Because I agree with some folks that it can absolutely be a crutch, and you got to be careful with how much you use it. You know, I have found, because don't get me wrong, there's been a couple times where in my past I was in a rush and didn't like the way I was working on a thumbnail, and I've used AI to create a thumbnail for me and posted that on my video. But I found in doing that those videos tend to not get as much click-through rates as the ones that I do myself or that has me actually in the thumbnail. Or let's say you're in the productivity niche. You could totally make a video that says how I use ChatGPT to increase my productivity every day. I guarantee you there are a lot of people that are starting to do the same thing. Whether they're looking to AI to help search the internet for information, or they're creating searches that automatically happen for them that brings to them their morning news. There's all kinds of things that people are doing. So whether you really want to use AI or you're completely against it, I personally believe that everybody should be making some form of video that references whatever their thoughts and opinions are about AI, because people want to know. Number 6, search before you buy mentality equals views. So Google says searches like best blank under 50 and things like which blank should I buy are exploding as people turn to creators before they purchase. The day of people going out and actually reading 100 or thousands of reviews on Amazon is slowly starting to go away. People are looking for quick decisions sometimes. We don't always have a lot of time. Most of us are living pretty busy lives, but we want to know people's opinions. And so whereas we used to spend a lot of time reading tons of reviews on Amazon before we would purchase something because we wanted to see what people were saying about it. Are they saying good things or are they saying bad things? But nowadays, we're going to YouTube to get those answers because there's just something that connects us more to somebody who's actually standing there and telling us about it. We can then see, their emotions. We can see how much they're really into this product. And if they show that they actually feel passionate about it. Like you can tell the difference when you go onto one of those channels and it's just one of those channels that somebody gets, 20 items a week to be able to review and do a video on. And they're literally just trying to provide data and content on the internet because they know people are searching for this stuff, versus that person who's actually lived with that product and used that product and actually tells you the things that they really like about it and the things they don't like about it. Those are the kind of videos that people want. They want that authenticity. They want that personalized experience and somebody to tell them how. I know I'm bad about it. I'll go search a product on YouTube, and after I find 2 or 3 of them, and if I really connect to that person and really believe what they're telling me, I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I'm going to buy it. And people across the nation are doing that. So if there's any way that you can add that into your content, like, that's powerful. So let's say let's think of some examples for that. So if you're in the outdoor fitness niche, you could probably do a video that says, best hiking gear for under $20 that I actually use. People are going to watch that. Because as I mentioned, you can do things of all budget levels. Now, I mention a lot that, a lot of people are on budgets and you should do budget-friendly stuff. But there's also a market out there for the other. If your audience is built up of both crowds, you could also do something that says, best biking helmet I've ever had. But be upfront about, the cost and why you should spend that kind of money versus, if it's an issue and you didn't want to spend that. And in that video, you could also refer people back to, hey, if money's an issue, you could always check out this video where I talk about the best biking gear for under $20. Let's say another example. Let's say you're in the lifestyle niche. You could do a video that says, this $20 item saved me tons of time in the kitchen. I mean, that right there is going to spur people to want to know, what are you talking about? Especially if your audience is, folks that are working in their kitchen, that are cooking meals. What is it? The curiosity's in the title. What is it that you're using that saved your time? And the fact that it's cheap, will spur even more people to go, oh, it's cheap and it can save me time? Man, I'm busy and on a budget, so I need to check this out and see what it is. There's tons of ways that you can use this to your credibility. All right, number 7. Local and near me searches are starting to become an untapped niche. Google says people are increasingly searching for things near them in real time. So this is one I had never really thought about before. Especially in my niche, I really wasn't certain what they were talking about. But I did some research into it. And it's interesting to see how much people are actually searching for things that are not just, hey, where's the closest pizza joint? As I mentioned, we're getting away for just looking for regular content being given to us in a list format. Like, yes, I can totally go on Google and search for trails nearby my hotel because I'm on a work trip in Billings, Montana. And I want to know where I can go and get outside and get in the sunshine. And I could be given a list of, 10, 12, 15 different trails, right? But I can also go on YouTube and I can search the same topic. And now I get more context to that topic. I get the person's experience with going out there. I get the person's experience about what the trail's like. Did they enjoy it? Are the views gorgeous? Or, is it super rocky, super hilly, and I could barely breathe kind of review. So you get so much more on that stuff. And so no matter what your niche is, there's a way to tap into that. Of course, there's the one that I immediately thought of, which was if you're in the blogging or travel niche industry, you could do a video that says, here's a secret hidden gem of a coffee shop I found while out in so-and-so place. I mean, that one's the one that I always think about when I think searchable around these stuff. Or even the one like, if you're in the real estate niche, you could do one that's like, I'm moving to Colorado. Are you moving to Colorado? Here's what you need to know. Like that, I could see totally being something as well. But I'd never really thought about it for my own niche. And so as I did some research, I was like, man, I could do a video that says if you live in a small town, how to still make videos that could go viral. Like, there are tons of people out there that see all of this information and see all these videos being done about these big places, like go to New Zealand or go to Switzerland or go here. But they don't realize that there's also an interest out there, and there's a lot of search content to be made for small communities and the history of some of these other places. And so that's totally something that I could do, because I'm sure out of tons of my audience that I get, that many of you live in small towns and are trying to figure that out. So what's the real lesson in all of this? If you want to grow on YouTube, stop guessing and start watching what the rest of the world is searching for. Google literally gave us the blueprint. Curiosity, relevance, and authenticity. That's what's going to win in 2025. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing, because I'm sharing everything I learn as I'm growing this channel from the ground up. And eventually, I'll be helping creators do the same. Comment below which of these tips sparked some inspiration for you. Or better yet, tag me when you make it. Let's grow together.